Well, Dance with Dragons is the fifth book of my ongoing epic fantasy series, A Song of Ice and Fire. In some ways, it is the flip side of the fourth book in the series, Feast for Crows. Back when I was writing A Feast for Crows in 2004, 2005, that book got so big and was still far from being complete that I decided to split it into two books. I decided to split it geographically. So A Feast for Crows, the fourth book, followed the characters in and around King's Landing primarily, and a few others who were traveling and so forth. But there were some very important characters from the first three books who were not in that book, including Tyrion Lannister, the Imp, Jon Snow, and Daenerys Targaryen. These characters and a host of others are the ones I pick up with the new book, A Dance with Dragons. And so essentially you're seeing what happens to them at the same time the stuff from A Feast for Crows is happening to the characters who were featured in that book. It has some new characters in it who I think the fans may like. It has some new viewpoints, characters who have been around for a while, who are known to the readers of the series, but who have never before been viewpoint characters. We've never gone inside their head. So every time we go to a new viewpoint, it gives you a little different angle on what's going on currently, and also on the other characters and some of the things that have gone before. So you'll get that perspective with A Dance with Dragons.
Excellent.
I'm juggling a lot of balls with this one. I have a lot of characters. I have an extremely complex plot, which is sometimes difficult to get rid of. So I'm doing a lot of rewriting and restructuring. I work on something and it's like all done, and then I get a better idea and I change it, which is one reason why it's taken so long. But it is the way I work, and I'm not going to change it. It's been successful for me so far. It's produced the books that a great many people seem to like, and that I'm proud to have written. So, I'll continue that. It can't be done for film, much as I would have liked to have seen it done and to have that $200 million budget or something that a big feature film can get. The story might have been a good story, but it would not have been my story. So at that point, I started thinking, well, how could my story be done in a visual medium? And of course, I'd worked in television for 10 years. So it seemed to me that television was the only answer. You do it as a television season, you can do the same book. You can have 10 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours, and a series of books. You can do each separate book as an entire season. So it seemed to me that was the way to do it, to adapt it for television, not for film, and to do each book as a season by itself. The great thing about reading, for me, is that it broadens your life. You know, we all live our lives, but I think a reader lives 100 other lives. You know, you look back on books that you read 10 years ago, 20 years ago. In some cases, you can remember the events in the book better than you can remember what you were actually doing 20 years ago. You know, but you read Lord of the Rings, and you remember what Frodo and Sam were doing, perhaps, or you read Fitzgerald, and you remember what Gatsby and Daisy were doing, but you don't remember what you were doing at the time you did it. And that's a sign of how much the book has entered our lives. We lived those books in a sense. Those experiences, imaginative though they be, become our experiences. And that's what I hope my readers take away from it, from another life, another set of experiences, another set of highs and lows and triumphs and tragedies and emotions. Faulkner, in his Nobel Prize acceptance speech, said the only thing worth writing about is the human heart in conflict with itself, and I've always taken that as my credo. I think that is true, and it's true of all fiction writing, not just literary fiction, but also science fiction, fantasy, mystery fiction, romance, what have you. If the human heart in conflict with itself is at the heart of all great fiction.